Is up, y'all? Welcome back to episode 58 of That's No Moon Pod. Actually, got a whole lot going on just in these past few days regarding we got Nicholas Hoult confirmed being cast as Lex Luthor in the upcoming Superman Legacy movie. We got Jimmy Olsen casting. We pretty much got the full cast for the upcoming movie by James Gunn. They dropped a new Aquaman trailer. The Marvels tanked at the box office second week. Um, More talks of the whole Pedro Pascal and I think Mads Mikkelsen possibly being rumored to play Doctor Doom. Um, I'll get into a little bit of that, my thoughts. Um, and it's just not Marvel DC stuff going on right now. Um, Today, Dave Filoni got promoted. Basically, he's pretty much the new creative director of Star Wars now, going forward. Um, he pretty much has the same the same leadership in terms of the creative side and all that. Um, he's pretty much Star Wars Kevin Feige now at this point. Um, People are gonna go to him, and he's gonna be the one to pretty much, instead of having to see Kathleen Kennedy go out there and say something that's probably not even true in the first place and kind of just playing the whole corporate role. Kevin Feige, I'm sorry, Dave Filoni is pretty much going to be doing the whole Kevin Feige thing and stepping up, and he's the one that's going to be announcing all the projects and if we have any questions, and he's going to be the one to answer all of them. He's going to be the one at the Comic Cons, and I think this is just to start off with this because this dropped this morning, like pretty much everything else did. But this, to me at least, is a lot more bigger than I think. Just first glance, right? It's kind of something that a lot of Star Wars fans have been hoping for, to where we could get Dave Filoni somehow, some way involved with not just the whole creative process in his Filoni verse that he's got going on with Ahsoka, which I hear now is starting to get in development um, for season two. But Dave Filoni just being able to have some kind of direction. He always knows what he wants out of what he's doing. And we all know that he's got such a good grasp with Star Wars and the lore, and he cares about not just this little portion of the galaxy that Star Wars usually takes place in, but he cares about what's beyond that, what came before this, and what comes next. Um, I know Ahsoka was, for the most part, enjoyed by most fans, but like most of the stuff that Lucasfilm comes out with lately, it was still a bit mixed. Um, I personally I enjoyed it. Wasn't my favorite. Um, I still do think there was some things in the show that bothered me a little bit. Wish we could have got a little bit more with this character or that. Just the way some things kind of played out. But overall, I still enjoyed it. Um, I think if Filoni was, if he had been doing this, got this position from the start after Mandalorian, which they probably should have done after seeing the success that Filoni and John Favreau had with the Mandalorian season 1 and 2, this should have been done years ago. instead of all of us having to hear Kathleen Kennedy say this and that about nothing pretty much because nothing's really happened since. Um, Something else that kind of came out during the week regarding Star Wars. I don't know who interviewed him or where he said this specifically, but Taika Waititi, the director of Thor Ragnarok, um, Love and Thunder, we all know from Kathleen Kennedy, um, we all know he's supposed to be getting a Star Wars film at some point. It was announced like years ago, but everything going on with Lucasfilm and Disney and just all the craziness is just another one of those projects that was kind of just announced, and then we've been just kind of waiting to see what comes out of it. A lot like the what's I'm forgetting his name right now. Last Jedi director Ryan Johnson. He's supposed to still be getting some kind of Star Wars project, but anyways, Taika Waititi was asked about his Star Wars movie and him being himself, um, pretty much just said that his Star Wars movie is gonna be, and he does like his whole Taika Waititi bit. It's gonna be a Taika Waititi movie, and that's pretty much what that's all we needed to hear basically. If anyone was already kind of hesitant or had their guard up with this movie because of Taika Waititi, I fully understand, and we kind of knew already. Well, you get this guy to come in and do a project, he's gonna do it his way, and if you don't let him, he's probably gonna bounce because I'm sure he's got a lot of other things lined up. Um, I love Thor Ragnarok, um, but I don't think he wrote Thor Ragnarok. I think he just directed it. And Love and Thunder, uh, I'm a big Thor comic book reader, and so going into Love and Thunder, I thought it was gonna be even better than Ragnarok, but it definitely fell short in more instances than one. It was just that it just wasn't to me a good movie, you know? Like overall, I can't say Thor Love and Thunder was a good movie. It had cool visuals. Um, I love the whole um, like just the whole way that they use the colors and kind of make um, just Taika Waititi's style overall, I think plays in Marvel. But whenever you get into the whole him and Star Wars and him throwing his twist on it, Star Wars, I'm not saying can't be funny. I think Star Wars is a lot funnier than people give it credit for, to be honest. But that comes with the actors, the actresses having the timing and just being able to not make it feel like this is some writer or director trying to emphasize this comedic timing bit, you know. Um, and with Taika Waititi, it's gonna have humor elements probably way more than what Star Wars fans are used to. Um, but I remember watching Jojo Rabbit, and that movie. It's obviously um, it's a comedy, I guess, but it has a very serious, underlying tone, or not even underlying. It just deals with World War II and this kid and his family, and they're living here, and while the war's going on and all this chaos, but yet that movie was still charming and had a lot of humor in it, but still had a real serious um, story at the same time. So I'm not saying that Taika Waititi can't make a serious Star Wars movie with his humor in it. If he takes the whole Jojo Rabbit approach, um, and kind of leans into more of, I don't know, just the more bigger picture and exploration of Star Wars, um, in a different, just in a different world that we haven't seen yet. It's not going to be with these or these characters that we're familiar with. It's probably going to be people completely new, and it's not going to have too much of an effect on what you think of any of the other legacy characters. So that's my thoughts on it. Um, I know for sure once he comes out and says my Star Wars movie is going to be a Taika Waititi movie, everyone's throwing their arms up like, here we go again. But um, to me, I'm not too worried about it yet. It's still so early in whatever they're doing with it. So until we get more info, I'm not too worried about it. But Dave Filoni getting promoted, this is exactly what we needed because I doubt Kathleen Kennedy is going to get bounced anytime soon. She probably renewed her contract and she wants to keep getting that bank. Um, but the less we see of her, I think the better for Star Wars, and the less she has her hands in everything, the better, obviously. Um, Let me talk about this Nicholas Holt being cast as Lex Luthor in the upcoming Superman Legacy movie by James Gunn. Now, James Gunn, to me, complete opposite from Taika Waititi, to where uh, I love James Gunn. I love all the Guardians movies. I love Peacemaker. I loved his Suicide. Was it the Suicide Squad or just Suicide Squad? Whatever one it was that he did, I loved it. Um, I think he's got a like Taika, he's got a good grasp on his style, but I think for him, he's able to get these performances out of these actors in a way to where it just seems like it's so natural. And I think he's the type of guy who builds these relationships with the whole cast and crew to the point to where you don't feel like you're going into work. He kind of makes you feel like y'all are all part of this in this project and making it what is to become. And I remember Nicholas Holt was rumored to possibly even play Superman, but that ended up going to Corn Sweat, whatever his name is, which I think he fits the part, just looks wise. I don't know his acting chops, but Nicholas Holt being Lex Luthor, I think is the perfect casting because he's such a good actor. He's got he's got the familiar face to where you know who he is. You might not remember his name, but you're like, I know that guy. I've seen him in his movies. Um, he's got that charm to him that he could play Lex Luthor instead of that dorky whatever Jesse Eisenberg played in Batman v Superman. I still can't believe that choice of acting. I think Jesse Eisenberg is a good actor, um, but those choices and nuance, like everything that he was doing in that performance, just was not doing it for me at all. But Nicholas Holt, I know, will be able to make Lex Luthor his own. Uh, he's not going to be that stone face way Kevin Spacey was in Superman Returns. Nicholas Hoult, I think he's gonna bring a different layer to Lex Luthor, and obviously in this James Gunn style world, it's gonna have a little bit more, I would say, heartfelt to it, I guess. And like Taika, he's gonna have a lot more humor than we probably expecting from a Superman movie. Um, but I trust James Gunn. and I think he really loves Superman. And for him to take on this movie, he's got to have a lot of confidence in himself, and I think he does. And the more and more I hear from James Gunn and what he's got cooking up at DC, it's getting me a lot more excited. And you could tell that Marvel's listening because they're starting to revamp their stuff. Um, just going and looking back at Deadpool, or not Deadpool, Daredevil. Um, Pretty much just redoing Blade, making it rated R. Um, they're starting to do some things. I think the Marvels dropping so low like it did in the box office, which everyone saw coming. It's not like it's a big surprise. That's why it's not that big of a story, to be honest. The biggest story is just that it ended up being the biggest drop from the box office in Marvel history. But we all pretty much saw that coming. Um, it's pretty much was it going to look like going forward until we get to Deadpool 3. And like I said, DC, James Gunn, they're keeping things rolling with announcements, with the casting. Um, so they're pretty much all now Star Wars, DC, Marvel, all these big giant properties. They're starting to ramp up things now that the whole strikes are over. Um, Finally able to start announcing more things and promoting everything because right now it seems like people are just sick and tired of superhero movies, but when the superhero movies aren't that good, because when a superhero movie is done well from top to bottom, just like Star Wars, it makes these characters off these comic book pages feel like they're in our lives or somehow part of it. Because these movies, again, when they're done well, they could bring out all the emotions to where you're happy, makes you feel sad, um, just everything that these characters are able to do for not just entertainment, but I think for just people in general. Um, I think it's just bigger than just these goofy characters in these spandex suits and just jumping around behind a blue screen. Um, People have attachments to these characters, and the more and more that these suits and executives or whatever realize that it's not that we don't love these characters anymore. Um, y'all are just not handling them correctly, and I think going forward we're gonna start getting a lot more consistency out of these studios when it comes to their projects. Um, I'm pissed. Speaking of comic books, Comixology. If any of y'all read comic books, I buy all my comic books on Comixology, the app, right? And I used to buy them from the Marvel comic book app, but then I guess they got bought out by Comixology. So then I hopped over back to Comixology, and right away they start messing with the app, making it all confusing, and then they take away the ability to buy comic books straight from the app. So now I got to go to the Amazon website and click on the Comixology section to buy them, and then it downloads straight to the app. And now they're getting rid of the Comixology app as a whole, I think next month. So then now I'm going to download, I guess, a Kindle app or something because they're going straight to Kindle. So it's like, dude, they're just making it harder and harder for anyone to try to get in and read these comic books. So I don't get why they're doing it, making it more complicated because it was already complicated as it is. And I drove by my local comic book store today and I wanted to go in there, but it's like, dude, there's no one there. There's hardly anyone goes there. But if you have an opportunity to go to your local comic book store and just chill, if you like comic books or if you're trying to get into them, locals are the spot for sure because again, you got these big companies like Amazon just trying to freaking hog all the money from anything they can and just making it harder and harder for us to read comic books on our phones. It's crazy. Um, but anyways, off that. But follow me on Snapchat though, because I got every comic book I buy and read, I post on my public profile. So if you're trying to get into comic books, if you're trying to skip the local comic book shop, I guess, follow me on Snap, y'all. At admiremymoonsault. I got you. I literally got at least 100 comic books on my public profile, like right now. Um, but let me talk about the Pedro Mads Mikkelsen whole deal with the Fantastic Four real quick. Um, because I guess Pedro Pascal isn't officially confirmed to be Reed Richards, but it pretty much might as well be. But later after that, they said Mads Mikkelsen, who's already played a villain in the Marvel Universe, was rumored to be cast as Doctor Doom. And if you listen to last week's pod and previous pods as well, I've said that I want Henry Cavill to be Doctor Doom. That's my dream casting. Um, just completely switching up from going from the good of Superman to the evil of Doctor Doom. I think would be just a cool switch up for Henry Cavill and just elevate his status in the culture of these properties. We all know he's a big nerd, and I think Mads Mikkelsen, again, he's already been a villain in the Marvel Universe. He plays a villain in almost every role he does. But I feel like this was kind of like that Jake Gyllenhaal rumor, to where Gyllenhaal was rumored to be Reed Richards, and then a couple of days later, the Pedro Pascal news comes out. And what also came with the Pedro Pascal news was that supposedly that Kevin Feige or someone was saying that the Fantastic Four was looking like it was looking a little too white, I guess. Which we all know they're a white family. Comic books, they've always has been. Um, so if they're kind of looking at that, I don't know if that's true. Who knows? I'm sure those conversations were had. I'm sure those conversations are had in almost every types of those kind of meetings with these companies. Um, so if they're going to Pedro just solely for that reason, to where we need some color in this family, that's obviously not the right move, especially if there was someone else possibly even better. Um, but to me, if he's officially confirmed to be Reed Richards, again, I still think it's perfect because he has that element to it where everyone knows who he is. The moms, everyone who watches TV knows who Pedro Pascal is. So if you want butts in the seats, you cast someone like that. And I still think he's going to be able to kill it no matter what. Um, but until it's confirmed, officially confirmed, I guess, I'll hop back on here and kind of give my official thoughts. But again, yeah, Mads Mikkelsen being Doctor Doom just does not do it for me. I love Mads Mikkelsen, but we need something else, man. We need someone new. Get Henry Cavill, man. Um, Follow me on Twitch, y'all. I'm playing Modern Warfare 3, gaming on there like every night. I got the longbow sniper, trying to get the rust off. Um, if y'all trying to game, hit me up. My gamer tag is EJ Mafia Killer, but all my links to my socials will be in the description. My Twitch, my Snapchat, my IG. Um, like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. We're just gonna keep getting more and more news because right now there's not a whole lot of projects coming out um, in the near future, but they're gonna start announcing more and more stuff. All these companies. Um, yeah, thanks for listening, y'all. I really do appreciate it. Hope y'all have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. But until next week, y'all stay safe. and I'll catch y'all on the flip. Peace.